Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 4.4, 4.5, Review B, video number 2. All right, we already did the first side together. So go ahead and flip it over, and we are on the back. All right, number 5. Remember, we always want to look at our leading coefficients, and we move the smaller one. All right, so 1 plus 1, we get 2. So 2n squared. 3 plus 2 is 5n minus 42, and then everything on the right side equals 0. Okay? Now, you are more than welcome to check for a GCF. There's that. Okay? But we always want to check, can I factor it? So I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get to a negative 84 and add to get to a positive 5. So the factors of 84, 1 times 84, 2 times 42, we just did that. Okay, 3 and 28, 4 and 21, 6 and 14, and then the last one is 7 and 12. So, is there a combination that gets us to 5? Yeah, 7 and 12. But if we're going to do this, one of those has to be negative, and it's going to be the 7. Okay? So, we're going to split that middle term to 2n squared minus 7n plus 12n minus 42. And then we're going to pause the video, and you guys are going to factor that on your own. Good luck. Okay, so factoring it, you should have gotten 2n minus 7 and n plus 6. And then remember, everything with the variable we set equal to 0 and solve. So I'm adding 7 and dividing by 2, and then I'm just adding 6. Okay, so in order, it would be 7 over 2 and positive 6. I'm sorry, that's a positive 6. I wrote negative right there. So it's a negative 6. So actually, in order, it's negative 6 and then 7 over 2. Okay. So I'm just going to come up here and write my answer on the line. All right, number 6. What are we going to move? Yeah, we're going to move the 2. So I'm going to add the 2w squared to both sides. Subtract the w. These all cancel, and I get 0 equals 9w squared plus 3w minus 9. Okay, so is there a GCF? No, because I changed that 1 to 9, and it's supposed to be a 1, Mr. Grice. Come on. Okay, so check to factor. Numbers that multiply to get to negative 9 and add to get to 3. Well, the factors are 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. So, no. Okay, there's nothing in this group that's going to work. So, quadratic formula. A equals 9, B equals 3, and C equals a negative 1. Okay? So x equals the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Okay? So we have 3, 9, negative 1, and 9. Okay? So we have negative 3 plus or minus the square root and then 2 times 9 is 18. All right, so underneath the square root, we have 3 squared minus 4 times A times C, and we get 45. So how are you going to break up the square root of 45? Well, remember, we wrote the perfect squares on the other side. You should be checking 36, 25, 16, 9. And it's 9 and 5. The square root of 9 is 3. So we have 3 square root 5. Okay? So x equals negative 3 plus or minus 3 square root 5, all divided by 18. Okay? So we have negative 3 over 18 plus or minus 3 square root 5 over 18. And when you reduce both of those, it's going to be 1. So we're going to get x equals negative 1 over 6 plus or minus 5 square root 6. Just remember, when we're doing the quadratic formula, the plus or minus means that there are 2 answers. Okay, it would be a positive. If we were to actually solve them, we would have to do that twice. Okay, kind of like what we did on the other side. All right, number 7. Okay, go ahead and move the smaller one. So we get 3m squared plus 6m plus 1 equals 0. Okay, so you should know right away. Some of these you should just be able to look at. Multiply to 3 and add to 6. No, there's nothing that works. Okay, so we have to do the quadratic formula. A equals 3, B equals 6, and C equals 1. So I'll set it up. So x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So go ahead and plug all those numbers in, and I'll meet you over here. Okay? Good luck. Okay, so remember opposite of b, so that's a negative 6. And then once you do everything, you get 6 on the bottom and a 12 underneath the square root. So to break down the square root of 12, I would check out if 9 goes into it, and it doesn't, and 4. So square root 4 and square root 3. Square root of 4 is 2, square root 3. So x equals negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root 3, all divided by 6. Okay? And then let's get our 2 answers. We have negative 6 divided by 6 plus or minus 2 square root 3 divided by 6. And then we get our final answers of negative 1 plus or minus. 2 divided by 6 is 3. So what's that come down to? Guys, I'm sorry. I hate to backtrack this real quick, but I just realized something. I redid it in my calculator because I was checking my answer. I'm like, I got something different. Underneath, you should have gotten the square root of 24, right? Yeah, I hope you're yelling, Mr. Grice, you are so wrong. So let's just see what happens. It's actually the square root of 24. And the square root of 24 is 4 and 6, which is 2 square root 6. So I'm apologize that this is going to be 2 and 6, 2 and 6. Okay, actually I'm just going to rewrite that because that looks weird. Okay, so far everything's staying the same. It's just that 2 over 6 is actually going to be 1/3, and we're going to have a 6 and then a 3. Okay, I apologize for that. I must have forgotten a negative sign. All right, so there we go. There's our final answer. And then up here, I'm just going to write -1 plus or minus the square root of 6 divided by 3. All right, next one, number 8. We have our leading coefficient, so I'm going to move everything on the right. So I'm going to add 3y, and then I'm going to subtract the 9. So we get 5y squared plus 12y minus 9 equals 0. Okay, so remember to check. 5 times -9 is a -45, and 12, so 45, we get 1 and 45, 3 and 15, 5 and 9, and if you notice, 3 and 15 work if the 3 is negative. Okay, so you guys are on your own. Go ahead and factor and solve. Pause the video. Good luck. Okay, so there's all my work. You should have gotten -3 and 3 over 5 as your final answer. Okay. We've done a lot of factoring problems, so if you guys need help, you can go back and watch one of those videos. All right, number 9, we're looking at our leading coefficients. I'm going to subtract the 5y squared, subtract the 3, so we get 0 equals y squared minus 8y plus 14. Okay? Always check, are there numbers that multiply to get to 14 and add to get to -8? That's 1 and 14, 2 and 7, and no. Okay, so A equals 1, B equals -8, C equals 14. Guys, you are on your own, okay? Opposite of B, plus or minus B squared minus 4AC, all divided by 2A, okay? Once again, I'll meet you on this step. All right, pause the video. Good luck. Okay, so we should have gotten 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 divided by 2. Let's go ahead and break down the square root of 8. Square root of 8 equals 4 and 2, which is 2 square root 2. Okay, I'm just going to move this over a little bit. Okay, so we have x equals 8 plus or minus 2 square root 2 divided by 2. And when we break that down, okay, 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 2 square root 2 divided by 2 is just the square root of 2. So our final answer is 4 plus or minus the square root of 2. Last one. All right, we're looking at our leading coefficients. I'm going to subtract the x squared because that one's smaller. Subtract the 3x, subtract the 3x. So we get 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Oh, sorry, let me rewrite that. Plus 1 equals to 0. Okay? And always, always, always check. So 3 times 1 is 3. Numbers that add to negative 4. Well, 3, it's just 1 and 3. But 1 times 3 and 1 plus 3, if they're both negative, they work. Okay? So remember, when you can factor, I think factoring is a lot easier than plugging into the quadratic formula. Okay? So on the first group, we can factor out an x. And then back here, we can factor out a negative 1. And then we get 3x minus 1, 3x minus 1. And we get 3x minus 1 and x minus 1 equal to 0. Just remember, when there's an equal sign, we have to solve. And then everything with the variable, we set equal. And then we add 1, divide by 3, and add 1. So our final answer is x equals 1/3 and a positive 1. Sorry, that one's kind of out of order. Okay, and that's it. All right, so up top, I'm just going to write 1/3 and 1. All right, if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself so we can help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Unit 4.4, 4.5, Review B, video number 2. Thanks for watching.